Relatives of the 3 Lily Mineworkers who've been trapped underground for almost 6 years say they feel let down by government. Tomorrow will mark exactly 1,000 days since relatives of the 3 and former mineworkers have been camping outside the Barberton mine in protest. Now, they'll hold a vigil in their honor tonight. Malungelo boy is outside that particular mine with them. And Malungelo, we were talking earlier just how heartbreaking it is hearing the accounts of these families and how they are tormented by the fact that their loved ones' remains have still not been recovered 6 years on.
That's right, Kathy. Their remains have not been recovered, even though there were so many promises that were made in 2016 when tragedy struck, as I said earlier. You know, Kathy, we spent 9 days in 2016 in February reporting on this particular incident. And I can tell you now, David Mabuza, at the time he was the premier of this province. Mosebenzi Zwane, he was the Minister of Mineral Resources. And there was also members of parliament, in fact, from the the Portfolio Committee on Labour, who came to this mine to actually see and investigate as to exactly what happened. A lot of promises were made, Kathy, that everything possible would be done to ensure that those that were trapped, or those that are still trapped, I should say, underground would actually be retrieved and would be actually be handed over to their loved ones. Those promises have actually never been materialized, and tonight it's 999 days. Their families, and the former workers, really, of Lily Mine have been camping outside here in protest, really, urging government and all of us as South Africans not ever to forget their plight and their struggle, but also calling on government to do more. But the South African government, they will tell you, the families will tell you that the South African government has not done anything for them. Hence, they still find themselves in this predicament. I want to bring in Herman Mashaba from ActionSA. This is the man, Kathy, who has been, over the past 2 to 3 years, been interacting with these families. And at some point, really, he went to court in a bid to compel the South African government to assist these families in retrieving the bodies of those 3 mine workers who trapped underground. Herman, thank you so much for your time. Tonight, it's 999 days, these families camping here. Tomorrow, it's exactly 1,000 days. Are we closer to helping? Are you any closer to helping these families find closure? Because one of the things they're desperate for is closure.
Thank you very much, Malungelo and Newzroom Afrika, for showing interest in this matter. This is a very painful case. It's something that actually breaks your heart. Yeah. I survived because I'm a strong individual, and I think interacting with the family in particular, that's what breaks my heart. Yeah. Actually, I can't face them in the eye, because I remember 3 years ago when I first came here before COVID, when they brought this to my attention. Today's 1.3 million rands in legal cost, 2 court orders, contempt of 2 court orders. I don't know how many times I've written letters to the minister, various ministers of minerals and energy officials, including reporting this to Parliament. We had the parliamentary committee with them coming here, that they were going to do everything possible to assist these families. What has happened? They unleashed violence against them. Yeah. Brought out hardened criminals. One of the people, remember last year sometime, this
Maki was set alive.
Set alive during the day, 11:30 during the day, by a group of 30 or so people, led by someone who was supposed to have served 35 years in jail, only served 10 years and released. He is now the mastermind behind harassing these families. So every night for them, they're not really sure whether they'll ever wake up or not. So it's a very difficult situation, but fortunately enough, we now have, I have my friends and I have South Africans also assisting us to ensure that we should not really give up on this. We are not going to give up because their lives matter. Yeah. You know, for me, every day I read about South Africans in particular talking about Black Lives Matter. Yeah. These are 3 black lives that are underground for 3 years. And anyone to expect me, or any one of us, or my family or my colleagues, to sit back and say it does not affect us. I can tell you this affects me directly. Yeah. Because these are my fellow South Africans. These are fellow human beings. Whether they lived anywhere in the world, for something like this to happen, I think it's evil. And we can only pray to God that one day we'll find finality to this, so that these 3 family members can one day really give burial to their loved ones.
All right, Herman Mashaba, thank you so much for your time. We have run out of time. So, all right, Kathy, that's Herman Mashaba there. He's the ActionSA leader, essentially just telling us about, you know, the role that he has played in assisting, you know, the families, even though he has kind of like admitted that they've actually not made as much inroads as they would want to, but he's saying that they will not give up. As you can see behind me, I'm just going to move away from the shot. You can see some then of the family members and some community members, including former mine workers that have already started to gather here in Lily Mine ahead of that night vigil. Kath?
All right, Malungelo, boy, we're going to leave it there for now. Of course, Malungelo will be a part of that vigil, and certainly one can hear the frustration from the families.